Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at what has been illuminated for them about this connection. So there are three groups to choose from. Group one is the rose quartz heart, along with these cards. Group two is the red Jasper heart, along with these cards. And group three is the Aventurine heart, along with these cards. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you would like to jump ahead, which I do recommend using so that you can skip over me shuffling cards to clear the energy in between groups and also tap into the energy of the group I'm about to read for. So I'll give you a minute. Once again, timestamps in the description box. Go ahead and use those and we'll get right into it. Hi, group one. You chose the rose quartz heart, along with these cards, which I will start with to get a feel for what has been or is being illuminated for them about this connection. So we've got fall into my arms, surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life, potential, think big for your future, positive expectations, bat, you have the power to transcend failure and move into a limitless future, rooted light, assistance with access. It is necessary to ask for and accept help in order to receive it. Justice. Five of Cups. Two of Pentacles. and the Emperor. So this may have been somebody with the Emperor that was operating out of pride and ego when you were last dealing with them, or this has just been kind of a trend in their life up to this point in time. Somebody who is very rigid in their stance, rigid in their belief systems, somebody who maybe had kind of an issue with putting their own needs before the needs of others, kind of this idea of service to self exclusively and almost to the detriment of the needs of others around them, the needs of their communities, kind of the emotional needs of even friends and family. And this could have really kind of driven a wedge between this person, not only this person and you, but this person and others in their life. This could have been somebody who maybe experienced a lot of conflict, a lot of difficulties, a lot of loss, a lot of burned bridges in their life in general. Somebody who may have really been in this energy of kind of pointing fingers of blame as opposed to accepting responsibility for their sort of role in situations. Kind of with this Two of Pentacles, this idea of it taking two to tango, that, this person may have just really operated out of kind of a victim mentality, kind of feeling that the world owed them something, or that they were consistently being treated unfairly, kind of painting themselves out to be the victim in situations and having a difficult time of really owning up to the ways in which they themselves may have been a contributing factor to dissonance in their life through a belief system, through a mindset, through kind of this unwillingness to compromise, some kind of stubborn energy, or just very kind of my way or the highway sort of energy. And in terms of how this really has related then to their life in general, that also then sort of ripples out to what you may have experienced with this person in the past. Somebody who, had very kind of finite expectations about what love and romance should look like, what partnership should look like, some very definitive belief systems about the type of person that would really fit into sort of their larger goals for their life in general. Somebody who could have been really sort of almost obsessed with power and status, and something about the nature of this connection, or maybe circumstances in your life, could have really presented as quite contrary to that plan they had established for themselves. And so this could have been something where they didn't really give this connection the chance to blossom. With the Justice card, they could have kind of unfairly judged this situation, prematurely judged the situation, or kind of judged things based on, exterior circumstances, or kind of an entrenched or ingrained belief system or mindset. And so if you've gone into a situation of no contact with this person, they may have kind of sabotaged this connection, been sort of very kind of even cruel or callous in the way in which they ended things with you, not taking into account even the words that they were saying, or kind of the energy that they were projecting, and how that could have led to some heartbreak for you, a lot of hurt feelings. And somebody who, with this Two of Pentacles, maybe didn't really give you the chance to speak your side of the story. Somebody who wasn't really interested here in trying to work things out or to compromise, but just made some kind of declaration, proclamation, ended things, left you with a lot of hurt feelings, needing to kind of clean up the emotional wreckage out of whatever happened, dealing with this person in general, maybe trying to compromise or sort of appease this person. This could also be sort of the energy of somebody who because of that sort of stern and stubborn air about them, it could have been very difficult to reach places of compromise, to where you might have felt you were always having to kind of yield to this person, or really recognizing that they were putting their own needs first, and kind of playing second fiddle to other things in their life, or maybe just a consistent pattern of this person kind of breaking promises, not prioritizing things, not taking into account what's important to you, what matters to you, what do do you value? Somebody who, if you were in a relationship with them, and let's say there were even social situations where, you would have liked to have this person with you, to accompany you, sort of like your plus one, to be sort of a buffer to a difficult situation, or just because of the nature of it. Maybe it was, getting together with groups of friends, kind of like at sort of a friend gathering or something, and this person maybe making the promise that they would come with you, only to sort of back out at the last minute, or let something else take priority, something that they would rather be doing, instead of whatever this other circumstance was, where maybe it wouldn't have been their idea of a really fun time, but just one of those kind of compromises that couples make for one another, from time to time, honoring what's important to that other person, and kind of demonstrating through that love language of action that it's a supportive partnership. You're supporting the needs and interests, and just other things going on in one another's lives. And so based on that energy of kind of this sabotage that had happened, it's something where, again, you were really left with that need to kind of deal with that emotional wreckage on your own. It seems that with this person, some kind of a shift may have taken place because of some kind of karma that had come to them. Not in terms of really the form of punishment necessarily, or these could have been some uncomfortable things, these uncomfortable truths that are coming up for this person, but it really feels like sort of the ripple effect, the reverberation of this attitude, this way of being, this very kind of self-focused, self-driven energy has really come back to almost bite them. Maybe, other bridges that may have been burned, other people in their life that have kind of gravitated away from this person has really kind of brought that central focus home. It has really rooted this lesson. It has really helped this illumination to kind of take hold in this person's life, that they can no longer go on just kind of pointing the finger of blame, that in some way they are partially responsible maybe for circumstances in their life, dissatisfaction in their life, maybe unreasonable expectations that they had placed upon others, unreasonable demands that they had placed upon others without being very reciprocal in that. Somebody who asked a lot but then wasn't really able or willing to kind of give in return, give that support, give that kind of emotional assistance. And so with this, it seems that, with this bat energy here, and kind of the association with bats is, they kind of move, they navigate nocturnally when the light is not necessarily there, but it's kind of this echolocation. It's this reverberation where, kind of a frequency, a sound is sent out, and then as that bounces off of objects and kind of, sends that boomerang effect back to them, then the bat is able to kind of navigate, to anticipate, to adjust flight patterns, to locate, food sources or shelter, things of that nature, locate others in their family, others of their species, to be able to kind of determine where predators are and so forth. And so this is that energy again of kind of this person's actions coming back to them, a certain vibration or a certain way of being that in a lot of ways I feel wasn't exclusive to this connection and how they may have treated you in the past. It's all kind of coming back to them. This person is really also, with this image here with kind of this snow globe, this person may be finding themselves very isolated at this point in time. A lot of other people may be gravitating away from them, no longer tolerating kind of this behavior, this way of being, this very self-focused and self-directed energy. And so this person just kind of left with a lot of time to think, a lot of, reason to think. There could have also been somebody else in their environment, maybe something that you said, or, if there wasn't really the chance to have some kind of discussion, this could have just been, text messages or emails that you sent that they didn't necessarily respond to, but it feels like these things were taken in, they were absorbed all the same. Some words that were spoken has really had time. It was almost almost a seed planted, and it's had time to kind of marinate and germinate within this person. Something really having shifted in their awareness, having come to light about the ways in which, with this reference to assistance here, and kind of how they have directly contributed through their own actions, through their own behavior, through their own kind of approach to things, their way of handling this situation, to kind of this dissatisfaction, this shadowy energy, this darkness around them, feeling this lack, this void in the connection, feeling the void of your presence, the void of other people in their life in general. All of this really compounded to that reality, that they're kind of in this prison of their own making, but at the same time, they also possess the key to liberating themselves, to kind of shifting this energy, to changing this energy. This feels like somebody who is kind of surrendering that victim mentality, that victim mindset. Something is becoming apparent to this person, that they need to, kind of move out of this energy of pessimism and kind of negativity, always feeling that others are to blame, always kind of projecting, and kind of surrender into this energy of, recognizing, taking accountability for their own actions, their own contribution, and really seeking to kind of elevate that vibration, to change the way that they are interacting with others, change the way they are speaking to others, change the way that they are speaking to themselves even. This feels very internal. Some shadows within this person, maybe growing up as a child, they went through some kind of neglect where their emotional needs were neglected. Maybe this is somebody who, even kind of their physical needs were neglected. They had absent parents, or maybe they were struggling and grew up in a situation of poverty. And so they had made this vow to themselves at some point in time to, really almost this energy of a self-made person, really driven to achieve their goals. Focusing exclusively on themselves, because they didn't necessarily have the resources or the emotional resources, or they hadn't really been taught what that means to be sensitive and cognizant to the needs of others. And so it almost became this very entrenched habit. This doesn't feel like something that is stemming out of a place of malice, but rather just out of a state of being kind of oblivious, being very kind of goal-oriented, charging ahead, very singularly focused on whatever this was they were trying to achieve, kind of taking this idea of needing to stay hungry, needing to stay, frosty, needing to stay very focused on the goal at hand, not allowing distractions to kind of pull them off course. And it almost feels that took on a distorted perspective, that went beyond just goals in the material world, that went beyond kind of rising above whatever their situation was or their circumstances, kind of the cards that they were dealt in this lifetime. This is somebody who, didn't really know kind of where to put the brakes on, sort of where that boundary existed, between being very, very kind of focused and having that tunnel vision, and then kind of that need to open up and take into account and take a look around at the world around them, the people around them, the relationships around them, and what is being neglected, what kind of needs and wants of others do they need to kind of make some time for, do they need to make some accommodations for. So in terms of this relationship with this idea of falling into my arms and surrender, holding the opposites and extremes of life. This is someone who, again, was really operating out of that extreme energy, extremely driven, extremely focused, and it kind of manifested into this distortion. This is somebody who's surrendering into this emotional space, surrendering to the reality that, they kind of have created these circumstances for themselves. This sense also of kind of this isolation, this loneliness, maybe having a lot of success, but nobody really around to share that with, or a lot of other people in their life who have kind of clued them in, even just through their actions or their distance, that kind of this vibration this person is emitting. It's not the most inviting vibration. It's not the most conducive to building and nurturing healthy relationships, healthy partnerships. And so this is somebody who is kind of in this process in general of surrendering that victim mentality, surrendering that blame mentality, who has shifted into accepting their role in circumstances, and as it applies to this connection, This is somebody who may have also really kind of projected with this positive expectation, sort of this kind of the opposite of that, the counter of that. Somebody who had really, projected maybe these ideas that to take their eye off the prize, to open themselves up, maybe feeling that, they didn't have a lot of time, or their time was really needed to be focused on other things, having those blinders on, not really being able to recognize kind of the needs of this connection or your needs, and things that may have fallen apart. They could have really blamed that, almost projected that onto you, accused you of being very needy, accused you of not being very supportive of their goals. But something has really shifted for this person to where they're understanding now that they have essentially repelled this. They have repelled this very supportive energy of this connection, the potential that was there, kind of the potential of this other aspect of their life, this emotional fulfillment, this love, this romance, this sense of connectivity, this sense of partnership that they had not maybe prioritized in the past. And now they're feeling kind of the lack of that, the void of that. This kind of lesson is really, it's hitting home, it's taking root within them, that as they are enjoying these other kind of, satisfactions and successes, that it's a lonely life. It feels very desolate. You brought some kind of light to some degree to their life. Maybe this is something where, through the ways in which you were very, accommodating and very, understanding, and tried to allow this person the time and space that they needed, up to a certain point where it just became unsustainable, or, they kind of pulled the rug out from under you and just kind of shut themselves off to this connection in general. This person is now, through hindsight, they're able to reflect that your presence was very much a blessing, kind of this energy of a light in the dark in their life. A lot of connections that they may have had may have been just kind of casual connections, or a lot of work connections, but not a lot of sort of deep and intimate relationships. And it was almost this light that Spirit had gifted them in the form of this connection, something that they needed, but they didn't even know that they needed in their life. And now, because of the circumstances between the both of you, this distance that has been created, they're feeling that. They're acutely feeling kind of this nocturnal energy, the light being very difficult to find, the absence of light, which is kind of bringing to the forefront, just again, that sort of feeling of desolation, that feeling of isolation. This is somebody who is desiring to kind of step back into that light, to kind of have these positive expectations, that armed with the knowledge to do better, through the experience of this kind of this karma, or this reverberation of that energy, what they have put out coming back to them, and it really sending the message home for them that this is no way to live, to kind of push others away, to neglect others that are important to them, rather than sort of cherishing and valuing the precious connections and the precious people, the people that are gifts to them. This person may have just, again, prioritized maybe even work connections, professional connections, or just staying very aloof and removed to these emotional issues, in order to focus on some kind of a goal of success, some kind of something to do with finances maybe, or power, even just some kind of a perception of emotions as a weakness, some unhealed shadows within them that they kind of allowed to bleed into this energy of distortion, and to kind of contort them in the ways in which they were able to show up in this connection. And so there's a softening that is happening here. There's this need to kind of tend to some of these emotional wounds, both within themselves and wounds that have been inflicted upon others, through this kind of very tattered stance that they were operating with, this energy of distortion, these distorted belief systems, or just even kind of things that hadn't been addressed within them, that had sort of shifted and contorted them into somebody who almost feels like they were deliberately trying to sort of avoid deep and intimate connections, when issues of intimacy, really being there, really, exchanging that intimacy through time, through commitment, through actions. It was a depth and a level of emotions that this person wasn't comfortable with dealing with, or they had some kind of belief system that, to tap into that, to address that, to spend too much time in that vibration would somehow weaken them, or would somehow take them off course for what it is that they were pursuing. So with this justice, this is really talking about this person coming to this knowledge, this reality that some kind of an apology or an explanation may be owed. Somebody who is also learning to forgive themselves, maybe even forgive others in their life or in their past that have led to this kind of distortion, this lack mentality, or this belief that love can't be trusted, that to love and to be open and to be emotional is a sign of weakness. Somebody who maybe wasn't really valuing the time spent with others in their life, and as these relationships are kind of falling away, they're really missing that. They're missing that closeness. They're starting to appreciate how important those instances of joy have been, not just in terms of this connection, but others I feel in their life as well, that really brought something positive to them, that was really a welcome change or a break from whatever this person has been so extremely focused on, or this very kind of rigid and stubborn, very ego-based, very pride-based kind of approach to life. So there's a softening that's happening, a clarity that is coming to them through these actions returning, through people, other people maybe, cluing them in as well, that, the way that they are showing up, these other people feel very neglected. Other people who are not, as readily available to support them or be there for them or kind of meet their needs, has really kind of brought this home. This feels like somebody who is, in this dark night of the soul energy, is having that kind of reckoning within, is needing to really look in the mirror, to face some shadows. And part of what is being mirrored to them is the ways in which it almost feels like they were running from this light inside of them that really wanted to come out, that really wanted to express itself in a way that was different than their kind of original plan or their belief system. That's a light that was mirrored to them by this connection, and that could have been very triggering for them, kind of that invitation to step out of this rigidness or this bitterness or this feeling of needing to kind of blame and project that onto others, to instead step into this energy of being very compassionate for oneself, compassionate for others, tending to and addressing kind of this deep body of emotions within themselves that may have been neglected for some time. Some of those emotions being very high vibrational, and other things being of a more kind of dense capacity, but at the same time waters that need to be waded through and that have been avoided for quite some time. So illumination coming to this person, a lot of their shadows being illuminated and kind of reflected to them through what has happened in this connection and kind of the aftermath of that, and also other circumstances I feel playing out in their external reality that is mirroring to them. It's kind of bringing their attention back to how they behaved and acted and treated you, and kind of pushed you away in the past as well. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self and see what do they want to tell you. Okay, and they say we belong together. So this definitely is tying in with that energy of mirroring, this person really recognizing this light within you that has kind of helped to brighten their life. It has helped to kind of alleviate some of this heaviness. It is a light which has offered them healing. There's a sense of sanctuary, a sense of really cherishing this connection, but not having the tools or the capacity or the ability to really show that and demonstrate that in the past. They also say, babe, I love you. I want to be with you. So again, that recognition of kind of the beauty and the light that you have brought to their life previously, really missing that, really yearning for that, as a lot of other things are falling away and they're kind of just left with their own shadows, with their own reflection to deal with at this point in time, searching for the light, seeking the light within them, around them, and their thoughts really coming back to times when they have experienced that in the form of this connection and what the two of you had together in the past. They also say maybe this break is for a good reason. Maybe this time apart will help us come back together. So this is definitely talking about some of that deep shadow work that is needing to be done, those actions that have reverberated to this person, this awareness that is coming to them, that is being illuminated to them about some things that they may have projected onto you. Maybe, again, that idea of, for some of you, this person really accused you perhaps of being too needy, when that can be a reflection of the fact that they were exerting their needs above kind of the needs of others, making things all about them as opposed to kind of this energy of give and take. So in this time apart, through this darkness, through kind of these other things that are falling away from their life, and really this contrast that is then being demonstrated to the potential or to what they experienced with you in the past, it's giving this person a point on the horizon to move toward. This feels like somebody in general who, when they fix their sights on something, they're very determined, will kind of charge ahead and stop at nothing to achieve that. And so as that kind of perspective in a way has widened or shifted beyond just their material goals, this is now kind of this idea of recapturing that light, moving toward that light, embodying that vibration of light so that they can then magnetize in and, you know, hopefully renew the experience between you in the future in the form of perhaps reconciliation. Somebody who also, with this positive expectations, is really trying to work on, you know, raising that vibration to be hopeful, hopeful that, you know, the damage done in the past can be repaired, hopeful that on the other side of kind of this heaviness, this feeling of isolation, is kind of an alleviation for that, is something beautiful which can kind of grow out of this very challenging and heavy time that they are going through. So I'm going to get a few more messages for you, group 1, about what this person wants you to know. Okay, and they say, I was dishonest with you and myself. I lived one big lie. So this is also that energy of projection. Somebody who really was kind of running from some wounds inside, these kind of fears of vulnerability, fears of loss, maybe these, you know, kind of this residue of being neglected in some way in the past, and that kind of manifested into them neglecting the needs of others, kind of like hurt people hurt people. Somebody who, you know, with this very kind of self-serving or self-oriented energy, this is really kind of a facade, a mask, a distraction, a ruse from this very kind of wounded and needy, almost inner child within them, projecting onto others that, you know, there was too much expectation, too much neediness, that a relationship was too kind of constricting or too demanding, that what other people, you and other people in their life were really asking of them was just, it was too much, it was an imposition. And some clarity is starting to come to this person about the ways in which, you know, it was not that others were asking too much, but they were maybe just giving not enough in the past. They also say, it wasn't you, it was me. I am to be blamed. I accept fault for this. So that is definitely confirmation there of somebody who has gone from kind of this energy of projecting blame, pointing fingers, and is starting to accept responsibility for the circumstances that they find themselves in. Kind of this sense of isolation, the sense of being very alone in a lot of ways. Even if they have other people around them, there's this sense of deep connectivity that is lacking. There could be a lot of superficial relationships in their life at this point in time, but any kind of deep intimacy has been pushed away. For some of these relationships that have been pushed away, this is kind of like permanent ends. For others, it's just kind of in this state of things being on hold currently, people being estranged or at a distance from one another, some kind of apologies that may need to be given, some kind of amends that may need to be given, some cleanup work, rebuilding of bridges between this person and others in order to forge those bonds of intimacy and connection again. They also say, I struggle with love and expressing it. It just does not come easy for me. So definitely somebody who may have had a belief system that, love and romance were signs of weakness, to show emotions or to even tap into that emotional center was something that was counterproductive. Someone who could have really compartmentalized, who through a coping mechanism almost chose to kind of remain in that pride and ego, almost this kind of fake false persona of being very unaffected, being very aloof, somebody who almost tried to put on this air of being untouchable in terms of disappointments, who really blamed others for circumstances that kind of went awry in their life, as opposed to, again, really kind of recognizing and owning the fact that their sort of operation or their vibration from a wounded stance was creating kind of these dissatisfactory circumstances in their reality. So I'm going to get some guidance for you now, Group 1, about the situation. Okay, and we have 10 of emotion. Life is blessing you with a wonderful and loving family. Great happiness and emotional fulfillment are now on the horizon. Harmony with those you love is assured. By offering forgiveness and understanding and kindness to others, you're rewarded with unconditional love. So that's a really beautiful message here about, really just having compassion for this person, as difficult as that might be for somebody who kind of operates out of that stance of pride and ego, who might be very kind of rigid, needing to have things their way, very oblivious, or just not prioritizing the needs of others, who hasn't prioritized your needs in the past. You're being guided to recognize that all of that really stems from kind of this deep emotional well within this person, something they've been avoiding within themselves, and not being able to really make that distinction or segregate that, kind of the wounds they've been running from within and the ways in which they kind of pushed away or repelled diving into that emotional space with others or in this connection with you. So this is really speaking again about this change also with this person, this kind of dark night of the soul energy, that through these lessons that are occurring to them, through what has occurred in this connection, that is really, I feel that they're being reminded of these circumstances. Maybe others in their life are kind of, have really had some difficult or sort of conversations of reckoning with them, have really called their attention to their behavior, have really pointed some things out to this person that has illuminated something in terms of what they may have been projecting upon you. Something is bringing that focus inside. It's bringing that focus back home. And really owning that, admitting to that, and accepting that is the first step to change. So there is potential for this person to kind of evolve beyond this through these kind of energies that are coming back to them, through the shadows that they're having to recognize, through this kind of this behavior and what happened with you being mirrored to them through other circumstances, finding themselves very alone, very kind of without that sort of that light and that joy and that gift of this connection at a very dark time in their life, or a moment in time when they don't have a lot of support, a lot of people to turn to. They don't have people that are kind of unconditionally or extremely supportive of them at this point in time. This is all the necessary kind of circumstances, this recipe for growth within this person. This feels like somebody who has entered a chrysalis of sorts. They're breaking down and dissolving old ways of being, old belief sets, old mindsets. They're coming into direct contact with even the ways in which they had compartmentalized some hurt in the past, some defense mechanisms, distortions that are being demonstrated to them through the actions of others, and kind of just this quiet and alone time that they're forced to self-reflect. And so you're being guided to really have hope that change is possible, taking the time to recognize the ways in which you yourself have overcome some kind of darkness, maybe even kind of these very difficult and hurt feelings that this person has left you with, and the ways in which you have transcended that. You've turned that into lessons. You've turned that into wisdom. You have risen beyond that, and applying that same kind of expectation to this person. It's not a guarantee that they'll change. Everybody has free will. They could continue continue to, avoid these things, continue to point fingers of blame rather than accepting responsibility. But for a lot of you, this person, this is really a time in their life. This is a significant kind of chapter where something new is about to unfold, some new way of being. So for a lot of you, change will manifest, that out of this darkness, out of this kind of realization, this recognition of the ways in which they've been operating in life, the ways in which these distortions and these unhealed, unaddressed wounds and deficits within them, how that negatively impacted the connection with you, how, you were almost made to kind of pay the price for this person really operating out of this very distorted energy, that all of that can definitely lead through that seed of recognition, owning up to their part in all of this, seeking to balance this out within themselves, learning to forgive themselves, that on the other side of that, a very different version of this person, a more compassionate, a more loving, a more conscientious, a more sensitive version of this person does have the potential to be birthed. And so, continuing to move forward with your life, continuing to do that work within yourself to transcend the shadows, recognizing what is being mirrored to you through the actions of others, and taking the time to really look at what core wounds that can relate to within yourself, taking the time to kind of love those parts of yourself, understand those parts of yourself, accept those parts of yourself, integrate that shadow in with your light so that you recognize yourself as a more well-rounded and intricate being, not all light, not all shadow, but sort of an amalgam of both. And by doing that, holding that vibration of kind of balance within yourself, you can energetically help this person, set that kind of example for them, that template for them of what to strive for in their own life. So potentially, if you're open to reconciliation in the future, sort of the chances through the personal growth that has taken place in the both of you are increased for sort of better results than what you may have experienced in the past. So I'm going to close this reading for you with some initials. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. I've got I, C, H, G, E, W, X, N, J, and D. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. You chose the red Jasper heart, along with these cards, which I will start with to get kind of a feel of what's been illuminated or is being illuminated for this person, about you, about the connection, about what's transpired between you. We've got baby steps, action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. Friendship, nurture your relationships. Rise above problems. Moose, with self-reliance and measured patience, adversity will be overcome. Dream time. Eternal gatekeeper, acknowledge, assert, and protect what is right for you. 3 of Cups. 9 of Swords. Ace of Wands. And the Fool. So I'm getting with this, with the friendship and the 3 of Cups, this could be somebody that friend-zoned you, somebody who was part of your friend circle, part of some community, a friend that you developed feelings for. Maybe there was some chemistry, some flirtation, some attraction between the both of you. Kind of also the energy of sort of a false start, where maybe this person, just the chemistry was there, the suggestion was there, and they never really acted upon that. It was something where the connection really never got off the ground. Or, if you'd entertained the possibility of getting to know each other, it didn't develop very far beyond just kind of that platonic, that getting to know one another. It stopped short of kind of crossing that threshold with eternal gatekeeper into that heart space, into deep emotional vulnerability. This could be somebody that in general kind of had a fear of commitment, a fear of love, a fear of intimacy that caused them to kind of keep these barriers up against their heart. With this Moose card, this is representing, Moose really represents almost like this very powerful force that is it's very deliberate. It's something which, it's very imposing, but at a moment's notice can be, activated into something that's almost kind of can be deceiving. It looks like something that there's not a lot going on, that there's a lot, that it's doesn't really have this potential to, be anything very imposing or be anything very, kind of foreboding in its environment, so to speak. But very quickly, in a flash, with very little notice, this is something that, has this ability to kind of exert itself or really activate itself or really kind of pronounce itself into its environment in a very profound way. And so this can tie into kind of that fear of love that this person may have had, some kind of heartbreak of the past, where it maybe even made them nervous to step very far beyond that bound of friendship into that emotional intimacy, out of this sense of caution or guardedness that what might appear to be kind of a good relationship that is, it has all the makings of something very positive in the future, through their past experiences, that in a moment's notice it could almost turn on a dime. It could almost, with a flip of the switch, become something very destructive, very intense, something that, would render them very powerless against whatever wanted to be wrought through the actions of this very kind of explosive energy. This very kind of, somebody who is both allured by the power and the potential of that, and at the same time very cautious and very guarded, very wary, very aware that a lot of damage could be done to them in the heart space, through opening up to love. So this sense of kind of guardedness or barriers. Again, some kind of heartbreak from the past, maybe even something stemming from their childhood, or friends that they have seen that have been just kind of put through the ringer in romantic connections that, maybe went through really messy divorces, had a lot of loss and in different ways associated with love and with intimacy and with commitment. And this, maybe this person grew up in kind of like a child of divorce, sort of like a broken home where it was very difficult for people to co-parent, kind of pitting the child, using that child as a pawn, to kind of harm the other parent, the other adult in the situation. A child who almost felt like a commodity of sorts, something to be traded back and forth, something to be used as leverage, as kind of this tool of power, with pitting one adult against the other. And so all of these things could really have created this wound within this person, somebody who doesn't believe in love, doesn't believe in monogamy, doesn't believe in commitment, doesn't want to open themselves up to love. And so despite with this Ace of Wands, this very tangible attraction between the both of you, this spark, almost this divine connection that was being felt, something very extraordinary to what they may have experienced before, something where they could have been very closed off in the heart space, very guarded in the heart space, but something here really sparked this awakening within them, really brought to life long dormant feelings as well. If this is somebody who had kind of put up those defense mechanisms over kind of heartbreaks of the past, somebody who with that Nine of Swords was really anxious about opening themselves up, still operating out of this kind of fear-based energy surrounding love, with this gatekeeper, just a lot of barriers, a lot of boundaries to that. It's something where, also with the baby steps, again, it could have been very difficult, very excruciating to try and get this person to open up, to get this person to kind of go deeper into things. And at a certain point, also with this moose, something could have been really triggered within this person, that things were kind of just going along very smoothly, kind of just hovering in their comfort zone maybe, but then something subconsciously was very triggered with them, and there could have been this very explosive and repellent energy on their part, kind of like the total destruction, the total annihilation of the connection, of what had been built, the groundwork that had been laid up to that point in time, that could have also really done some damage in terms of eroding the friendship between the both of you. So you could be feeling the loss of that, not only the potential and kind of the romance that was budding between the both of you, but also feeling the loss of this person's friendship, their presence in your life. There could have also been something to do with friends where, it really took a toll on the mutual friends that you had. It really, people may be feeling the need to take sides in this situation, or sort of a group setting where there was harmony at one point in time, that the circumstances between the both of you, or even this person's reaction, it could have really compromised sort of that goodwill amongst everyone. This could also, with this friendship in the Three of Cups, this can relate to a situation where people exterior to this person were maybe kind of in their ear about the circumstances, were in their ear about this connection, were kind of playing on those nodes of fear within them, causing them to hesitate, causing them to question, causing them to really feel very uncertain, or perhaps a little bit unsafe in the idea of this connection. Maybe bringing up reminders, pointing out similarities between you and between maybe somebody in these friends past that this person knew about, like, oh, this was very similar to my relationship with so-and-so, and look how that turned out, for example. Or, bringing up these reminders and these similarities, like, oh, that's just like your ex so-and-so, isn't it? Or gee, that sounds very similar to that circumstance. Something that just really kind of triggered these buttons of fear within this person. That caused them to kind of put up the walls, push away this connection, kind of leave you hanging, leaving you out on this ledge. With a lot of uncertainty about what went wrong, what was triggered, what spooked them in this circumstance. Something also with this following your intuition, where there's a sense of something more having gone on, something exterior, some kind of outside force or factor, whether that's even just wounds of the past being triggered or other people in their life, maybe even friends that you both had in common, really having said something to this, or somebody in this person's personal circle, friends or family, that in some way interfered or meddled in this situation. And so you've kind of been left with that sense of that this didn't just come out of nowhere. This came very spontaneously, very unpredictably, and that it's something where, you've had to just kind of operate then with that uncertainty, that sense of there being something more to the story that you're not exactly aware of, but needing to just kind of live with that uncertainty, live with kind of that burning question, something that may continue to kind of eat at you from time to time, in terms of really wanting to come to the bottom of that, really hoping that some kind of an explanation, some kind of clarity or truth is provided. With this Dreamtime card, this feels like the two of you really dreaming about one another. This can also really talk about beyond all these kind of cages and these walls of fears within this person is a dream of wish fulfillment, is kind of that idea, that hope that they almost may look at it kind of as almost like a unicorn, like a very mystical kind of creature, something that, it'd be really nice if that existed, but they've kind of dismissed that to just the realm of fantasy, where there could be love and friendship, that these two things could exist simultaneously, that connections can be very nurturing, that there can be this nourishment at kind of these multiple levels of the soul and the being, through romance, through, supporting one another in the practical and the material sense, through having that bond of friendship, really meeting each other's emotional needs. And something has really become clear to this person, that kind of that unicorn, that very mystical sort of idealized relationship that they had always kind of wanted, or they had told themselves if they found that person, then they'd take these guards down. They would let somebody like that into their heart. There's awareness that is coming to this person that they have in fact kind of pushed away that wish fulfillment. As kind of the dust has settled, as this person has, had a chance to kind of calm down from whatever spooked them, whatever triggered them. This clarity is coming to them that this connection was almost a dream come true, that on many levels there was compatibility between the both of you, that there was this sense of connectedness, this sense of love, and not just at kind of this romantic level, but also love at a friendship level, this very harmonious kind of light energy between the both of you, that as this person has, really had this time to reflect, maybe even some things that have come to them, epiphanies that have come to them in the form of dreams, that have brought clarity to whatever they have been spooked by being a distortion, whatever others had said, maybe judgments that were made, rumors that were spread, other just little tidbits that had been kind of sprinkled in this person's mind, in their subconscious, kind of this red herring appearing as a red flag for them, that some kind of clarity or perspective has been given to this person, that they also, just like you're feeling that you don't have all the information here in what happened in this situation, that there's more than meets the eye. This person has also come to this awareness that they weren't operating with or making a decision with kind of the clearest picture, that in some way this vision that they had, this kind of idea that they had, or whatever spooked or triggered them, or really kind of made them question or doubt this connection, that it was something that was from an energy of distortion. It was kind of this lower vibrational energy. This is something that was largely fear-based, either, kind of the fears of others being projected to this person, they're absorbing that, taking that on to themselves, kind of seeing the devil in the details, so to speak, seeing kind of the enemy where in fact there is a friend, that kind of an energy, almost kind of bordering a little bit on paranoia, or just kind of thinking about worst case scenarios. And this person is really coming to that clarity where they have allowed this fear in the past to really disrupt and derail and dismantle even the core of friendship that the two of you had. There's now now this sense of panic that is setting in with this person about having pushed that wish fulfillment away, about having been in proximity to that kind of happily ever after. They're recognizing the ways in which you may have been very patient with this person, cognizant of these barriers within this person, taking the time to continue to nurture that bond of friendship, exchanging energetically sort of this connections, chemistry between the both of you, any kind of suggestion you may have made, any kind of way in which you may have put yourself out there to kind of take the connection to the next level that could have even been sort of that thing which triggered this person, caused them to close off and kind of push you away. They're starting to get this clarity that it was time, it was the next stage, it was the next step, this person being almost fearful of a new beginning, fearful of change, fearful of that unknown, fearful of the potential of repeating past mistakes or things that they have seen with others in their life. That it was almost this energy of kind of fearing the boogeyman that wasn't necessarily there. A lot of this really being like a false projection, like fear, false evidence appearing real, and that they're also recognizing themselves as now being kind of trapped on this precipice, trapped on this edge, this very unique bond that you have not being able to be replicated with others. Then this person really also opening up just bit by bit with this reference to baby steps, slowly coming out of that comfort zone, slowly starting to take that guard down. Kind of stepping into this realization that this may have been just kind of a problem that they made in their head, whatever triggered them, that it wasn't necessarily based in reality. It was not a reason to sabotage what had the makings for a very very profound and very solid connection on multiple levels. So it's being kind of illuminated to this person that the responsibility is in their hands to take the steps necessary to rise above kind of this fear-based energy, to rise above these challenges within themselves, recognizing how the fears and projections of others or kind of this lingering heartbreak within themselves has really limited their experience in this connection, the potential that was there. This person really stepping into this place of being optimistic that maybe you both could give it another chance, take things slowly, reopen up to that. Somebody who is kind of moving beyond this energy of fear, who is kind of past some kind of a gatekeeper within themselves, even in that if that gatekeeper is denial or relying too much on that evidence of fear as dictating kind of the truth of the situation. Somebody who still is acutely aware of the intensity of this connection, and definitely this kind of very spiritual, this unique spiritual aspect of this connection, starting to be able to differentiate kind of the integrity that you possess, kind of the purity of this connection, the purity of your intentions. Somebody who is moving closer to that edge, to that brink, taking small steps, even just in their own awareness, and admitting to themselves that they have feelings and the depth of those feelings, and that those feelings persist despite what might have happened in the past, to take those steps to that edge, getting ready to kind of take that leap off into the unknown. So this could be somebody who, through this illumination, is also filled with, again, this anxiety of having, and this fear of having kind of pushed away this wish fulfillment. This fills also with Nine of Swords, which can be kind of a card of nightmares, and then we have dream time here. That there's this vacillation that is taking place between somebody who kind of slinks back into that comfort zone, that very fear-based energy, and somebody who's expanding out into the possibility of something more, of, what if it's not the worst case scenario? What if this is actually, the best thing that could have ever happened to them? So it feels like change occurring within this person, starting to kind of see the light, starting to kind of loosen the grip of fear, or to recognize fear as that very kind of small force within themselves, recognizing that quieter voice that is in fact the more powerful energy, kind of that whisper of the intuition that is encouraging them to open their heart to take a chance, even if things didn't work out between the two of you in the long term. This person really getting this illumination that they're allowing fear to keep them trapped, to keep them limited, that there's a world of experience out there. Any pains of associated with love they may have experienced in the past or witnessed in the past, that this connection is really offering them the potential to rise above that, to experience something different, to learn to equate love with a different vibration, with a different series of events. That this isn't something that they need to be, overly cautious about, to be, cognizant of those wounds within themselves, but part of that kind of that evolution process. And the point that they are at now is really, recognizing these obstacles and taking small steps if necessary, but steps all the same to kind of moving beyond that. And that may even be in the form of this person potentially resuming the friendship, reaching back out, offering some kind of an apology, moving into this energy of wanting to take that step into the unknown. Again, maybe starting very small with friendship at first, not diving fully in or into too much vulnerability that's outside of their comfort zone, but somebody who, has gotten some kind of clarity that what has occurred between you in the past, this was fear-based, and it's definitely something that by leading with love, by opening up into that heart space, trusting that instinct and that intuition, that this connection can become something very good. By leading with that energy, that they have the ability to kind of rise beyond whatever ways fear or kind of the fears even projected upon them by others have kept them kind of small and limited in terms of their kind of this next chapter of their experience and their understanding of what love is and what love can be. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now, group 2. Let's see, what do they want to say? Okay, and they say, please forgive me. So a lot of you could be getting some kind of an apology, some kind of communication from this person. Sort of this idea of someone who got cold feet and is now warming back up to the idea of starting things up again, starting fresh, taking things slowly. Somebody who may want to really, let you know about kind of these fears that they have. Somebody who is wanting, with all this blue also here, this throat chakra energy, this communication energy, to really kind of address these things, address the elephant in the room, shine the light on that voice of fear in order to empower the voice of truth more in this situation. They also say, I'm realizing your love was holding me together. So that is, again, that kind of shift that is happening where this person could have thought that there was a red flag, that it was really just a red herring. It was fear trying to distract them. It was kind of this, nearing the proximity of a level of intimacy and connection they may have witnessed or had in the past, where then things went very wrong. And so kind of nearing that type of experience, that vibration, it could have brought up a lot of unhealed wounds within this person to where they, just got very spooked. They kind of pushed things away. And they're really sensing that. They're missing that. They're missing that bond of friendship. They're missing that spiritual connection. They're missing the chemistry, the kind of blossoming abundance that was growing between the both of you in that area. This is somebody who is feeling very stranded within that comfort zone in themselves. Somebody who, is starting to feel very uncomfortable, very limited in that sense. Somebody also who could be looking around at people in their lives, at friends in their lives, coupling up with others, starting to really get some illumination that not all relationships end badly. They could be starting to really encounter some examples of healthy connections, of relationships that do work out, on people that start as friends and are able to develop into something more and still keep those bonds of friendship intact. All of these things really providing that illumination and these examples to this person that it is possible to kind of move beyond these barriers of fear and beyond their perceptions to open up to something new and different than what they have known before. They also say, I've been thinking about how I can fix things between us. So that's that energy of the fool, somebody wanting to take a leap of faith, step into that unknown, somebody who may be strategizing, even having a bit of anxiety about what to say, feeling kind of foolish as well for allowing sort of fear or paranoia or thinking about the worst case scenario to really cloud their vision of kind of the truth and integrity that has existed between the both of you. So I'm going to get a few more messages for you, group 2. Okay, they say you deserve much more than I could give at the time. So that's definitely referring to that kind of closed off heart chakra within this person. Somebody who had a lot of barriers up against love, didn't want to let love in, didn't want to open themselves up to be hurt in that capacity again, or as they had witnessed others having been hurt around them. Somebody who is really coming to terms with the fact that this fear had kind of stunted their ability to appreciate you, to really nurture this connection, to really, in ways that you might have given to this person, they were kind of at a loss for how to give back. Somebody who may not have been very comfortable receiving love, receiving compliments, could have been very overwhelmed by that, and just kind of felt almost more comfortable, just was kind of retreating from that, retreating into that space of lack, that space of that type of intimacy and connectedness being non-existent in their life. They also say life hasn't been too nice to me and I took that out on you. So this can talk about that heartbreak also of the past, or things that they grew up witnessing that has really kind of distorted this person's perceptions of love. Something where they may have also really kind of projected onto you that you were the enemy in this situation. You were trying to control them or trying to manipulate them, really holding you accountable for kind of some damage that was done to them emotionally by others in their past. This is something that this person is starting to recognize. They're starting to see that kind of, that very pure bond, that friendship bond, that spiritual bond between the both of you. Again, that idea of almost this wish fulfillment, this very kind of mystical connection, this idea of almost like a unicorn, and having pushed that away, this very unique potential that they've not been able to replicate with others and that they have never encountered before. They also say, I am lost in this world without you. It gets lonely. So more of that energy of missing that friendship, missing that closeness, the light you brought into their life, that warmth you brought in. Somebody who may have been very accustomed to being kind of closed off, just kind of residing in this shadowy energy in the heart space. And so almost like when you've been in a dark room and you step out into the sunshine, it immediately almost kind of hurts. It stings. The instinct is to kind of close one's eyes, to sort of turn away from that. It takes a few moments to kind of adjust to that, to acclimate to that, to get used to that light before it starts to feel really good and really nourishing and really empowering and very safe. And so this definitely feels like somebody who something was really triggered within them, some kind of instinct to kind of wince away, to pull away, to kind of push this away. And it's something that as they've kind of retreated into that dark space within them, they're starting to recognize that what they were running from is actually what they have really been hoping for deep within, what they've really been searching for deep within, but maybe had kind of come to this place of pessimism or fear or hesitation as even being a real possibility for them. Somebody who may not have, may have put out those intentions of wanting this, but when it came to them, they weren't really sure what to do with that. It brought up a lot of wounds within them, unhealed wounds that were kind of holding them back from being able to trust and open up fully to experience the love and the connection that was possible between the both of you. So I'm going to close this message for you, group 2, with some guidance from Spirit about this situation. Okay, we have successful completion. This is a time of incredible accomplishment. You're justified in feeling joy, a sense of completion, and pride in the amazing job you've done. You've been blessed with many spiritual insights. Soon, you'll begin a new journey. But for now, take time to bask in the happiness of your dreams coming true. So that's a beautiful confirmation here with that reference to dreams coming true and this person recognizing you as wish fulfillment. Something has really become apparent to them about some kind of fear-based energy that they were, kind of blowing out of proportion. They were allowing that to kind of cloud them, cloud their vision, to limit their experience of this joy, this potential that was there. This is also really talking about, that illumination that has come to this person has signaled kind of the beginning of the end of this pattern within them. now that they are cognizant, now that they are recognizing these triggers, or maybe even triggers that had been activated by others around them, things that had been projected by others around them. These are cords of attachment. This is baggage that this person is recognizing they no longer need to carry around with them anymore. Or to carry this around is to continue to limit and isolate themselves, to keep themselves at a distance from this very uplifting and spiritual love, which wants to come in and nourish them in all the ways that their heart space may have been neglected in the past. So you're really being guided to, in this same vein, to take some time to recognize what are some different aspects of your life, different kind of nodes of fear that have been triggered within you, fear-based responses of pushing away even love or wish fulfillment, wanting something, and when that arrives, feeling very unprepared or unworthy to receive that, to hold that vibration, to accept that gift and that blessing. The two of you definitely, in this distance, needing to kind of heal that, step into this place of worthiness within yourselves. Any ways in which whatever has happened with this person, any kind of unanswered questions or any feeling maybe of your instincts being wrong, of maybe you misconstrued things, you misperceived things, blaming yourself for having maybe reached out or extended yourself beyond the bounds of friendship to this person, and that really kind of eroded the friendship in general or the situation in general. Working on coming to this place of completion with that, forgiving yourself for that, recognizing that if you were operating from the vibration of love, then that is the truest and most honest vibration, and there's nothing to feel ashamed of with that. There's nothing that you did wrong in that situation because of the triggers that were operating within this person, maybe even some kind of fear of loss within yourself. Maybe you jumped the gun in this situation. Maybe you went a little too quickly in this situation. You didn't respect this person's boundaries. Maybe you were a little bit kind of impatient with that, or you'd exercised a lot of patience and it just felt time to kind of take the next step in this capacity. That, whatever sort of the circumstances were, to come to this point of forgiving yourself for what happened in the past, trusting that, love can definitely be a very healing force, that from the inside out, the friendship that existed between the both of you, that bond, that very solid foundation, that there is the potential to rebuild that, to move beyond comfort zones and triggers in time, to reestablish something along those lines, maybe starting very small at first, not the expectation of jumping right back in and a declaration of romantic feelings, but maybe starting to get to know each other again, taking those baby steps, those small steps, in order to kind of create different results than what you had experienced in the past within this person. This energy of completion of a certain kind of status between the both of you may also be on the horizon, and with that energy of somebody who might be coming back in with some kind of a wanting this reunion with this Three of Cups, this reconciliation, this apology, taking this leap of faith. This is also really guidance to kind of prepare yourself for that. Open yourself up to that possibility. If you've been operating in pessimism of, that it's over, it's done with, there's no kind of way beyond this, really blaming yourself, faulting yourself, or lamenting what has taken place, shifting into that vibration of hope and expectation that, the circumstances can be remedied, that slowly and over time, this circumstance between you can shift. A new chapter can open, a new kind of level in this situation, and this connection has the potential to be birthed and to unfold. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 2, this can be first, middle, or last name for you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got A, H, P, X, Q, I, D, and G. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them in my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 3. You chose the Aventurine heart along with these cards, which I will start with to get a feel about what's been or is being illuminated for this person, about you, about the connection right now. We've got the blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. Dragonfly, live life to the fullest. Breaking free. Bear, nurture creativity and return to the sweetness of life. Portals. Home, may your body beware a harmonious balance of love, strength, light, and pleasure lives. The Star. Knight of Pentacles. Ten of Cups. And Five of Swords. So right away with this blue flame and the star, you could resonate as a starseed, even specifically a Syrian starseed for some of you. This can definitely also talk about kind of the ascension of this connection, an ascension that has taken place within you personally, within you and this person, some kind of a spiritual awakening, some kind of a greater awareness or greater capacity to experience love for self, love for each other. With the Knight of Pentacles, this could be somebody that maybe you've been at a distance from for quite some time. And there's a sense that over time, the heart has grown fonder. The love between you, the connection between you has gone through many different stages of evolution. You may have run the full gamut of emotions about this person, feelings of loss, feelings of defeat, feeling the void of not having this person in your life with the Five of Swords here. Maybe some things that they said to you when you went into no contact or separation were very cutting, left a lot of kind of emotional wounds within you, maybe even called into question your kind of view of yourself, your feeling of worthiness, calling into question your own intuition as well about, maybe what you had perceived about the future between the both of you, a perception of being really in alignment in terms of your goals, dreams, and values for the connection and for the long-term future of that. And somewhere along the line, you both fell out of alignment, you fell out of balance in that sense. This person could have been very kind of impulsive with what they said, could have kind of hit below the belt or been very wounding with what they said, a little bit kind of cruel, maybe even thinking before speaking. Just very much reacting to something, some kind of a trigger, maybe some feeling of being kind of pressured, some feeling of protectiveness as well with this bear energy, or some kind of a boundary, a barrier within them was being really kind of threatened. There could have also been some kind of pressure from family as well. Maybe their family did not approve of this connection, really talked down about you, discouraged this person from participating in this connection for various reasons, maybe some kind of cultural or religious difference, or the family or even friends who were like family just didn't really like you, didn't really understand you, didn't understand why this person would, have feelings for you, didn't understand maybe even kind of this next level love or changes that were occurring within this person that were really sparked by the interaction with you, some aspect of awakening or activation within this person that their family or their friends could have really associated as kind of in tandem with them having gotten together with you, some kind of a light within this person having been activated, and that really triggering sort of the darkness or the demons within others around them, to where the connection and kind of this high vibration that this person was holding, really again sort of upsetting, irritating other people, triggering other people, and kind of the response to that being to attack this connection, to encourage this person to look elsewhere, set their sights elsewhere, move away from this, pressure to kind of disconnect or discard you or the connection. And so this could have, as a result of that pressure, again, just resulted in very kind of a cutting method in that sense, very harsh, very brusque, something that, didn't feel in alignment with what you were sensing energetically, something that could have really been very startling for you, or, just very kind of overwhelming, very damaging to you and your trust in your intuition, your self-esteem. It feels like some evolution has come through that. You've maybe gone through the full range of emotions: denial, sadness, anger, despair, this longing for this person, maybe kind of this very illusion-based sort of thinking where you were, projecting ideas or scenarios onto this person, that weren't necessarily in alignment with the reality of the situation, putting this person on kind of a pedestal, expecting more out of them than they were capable at that point of receiving, kind of moving into this state of disconnect with that, disinterest, wanting to kind of push this away also in the same way that they may have pushed you away, coming then into that place of acceptance, that place of knowing, detaching from the kind of the 3D circumstances between the both of you and connecting and realizing kind of the eternity of that connection at the soul level. Recognizing as well with this Knight of Pentacles, some kind of past life connection between the both of you, kind of the multiplicity of experiences you have had with this person, throughout lifetimes, throughout different places. With this reference to a flame, you could also consider yourself a twin flame, consider this person your twin flame, and you may have really focused on kind of that 3D union, that 3D reunion for quite some time. But the focus has kind of shifted to the point of recognizing you are, always have been, and always will be in union at the soul level, recognizing that the 3D circumstances, the material world, although obviously it's tangible, there's a reality to that, but the 3D world is also, it's largely that energy of Maya, that energy of the illusion, that the true nature, the truth of reality beyond kind of the circumstances of the flesh is that perpetuity of the soul. It is that consistency of the soul. It is beyond pride and ego and tangible circumstances. Tapping into that, feeling into that now at this point in time, recognizing and owning how you and this person's soul are very deeply entwined with each other. That coming to the point of almost gratitude for the experiences that you have had with this person, both positive and negative, for the ways in which this has set you free from a previous version or vibration of yourself. Almost that pain, moving through those layers. This has been a portal to some kind of healing and ascension within yourself. Kind of this glow up energy, stepping into that authenticity of the soul, moving into a place of acceptance, trusting in divine timing, that all will work out as it should in the time that it is meant to, not being so focused on kind of those 3D results, necessarily what's happening with this person, when are they going to come to this realization, when are they going to kind of break free from these patterns, but instead redirecting that focus into self, to breaking yourself free, to liberating yourself free, not waiting for this person to come save you, but being that rescuer in your own life and in your own kind of psyche, from belief system, things triggered by this person, wounds of rejection, any kind of anger or sorrow or loss, anger directed at yourself, anger directed exteriorly, forgiving yourself, forgiving this person, having compassion for yourself and for others. All these lessons really having been brought to the forefront through this experience, a sense of coming home to yourself, and just this beautiful, like with Dragonfly, this energy of just transformation, that you really have transmuted this pain in a large way, what you've been through with this person, other kind of lessons or themes in your life that this situation may have really touched upon as well, kind of opened up those nerves within yourself, maybe with this 10 of Cups, things relating to your family, your childhood, your belief systems, generational wounds, kind of trends within your lineage, that you really have broken free from that, investing in self fully, stepping into that best version of self, becoming that love that you wish to experience with another. And it feels that with all of this that has taken place with you on some level, this is being mirrored to this person. This is illuminated for this person. This could also be something with portals. I'm picking up that the Lionsgate portal will be very significant for this connection. Either some major kind of breakthrough for you, or this could even be a breakthrough in communication, something that is being illuminated to this person, really them taking concrete steps to kind of step through that door, to step through that portal, to step out of these self-limiting beliefs, out of an attachment to what others in their life have really taught them, have really told them, the opinions of others maybe about you, about this connection, about who this person is, and stepping into that journey even within. This could be somebody who has really been kind of avoiding a spiritual awakening as well, and so something being illuminated that in order to kind of liberate themselves from some degree of malaise or limited kind of patterns and experiences, that journey is a journey within. This could have been somebody who, as you were journeying within, they were seeking without. They were trying to find that remedy outside of themselves, trying to find that missing piece of themselves through exterior circumstances, through things, through experiences with others, rather than seeking and cultivating that kind of sanctuary within. Developing that change in the heart space within so that it is able to then ripple out into their experiences in the material world. And somebody who has really stepped into this awareness, this illumination, that this connection, this very unique bond between the both of you, there's a sense of home, there's a sense of sanctuary that they feel with you, that is quite unlike what they have experienced with others. Somebody who is recognizing how they've allowed the opinions of others to really cloud their judgment, allowing them to really kind of resist evolution or sort of put the brakes on the experience and stepping into that new chapter, that kind of higher vibration of love, that very elevated vibration of love that it was made available to them through this connection. This bear is also talking about a sense of protectiveness, that this person, I feel energetically, has always been with you through all of this, the higher self of this person protecting you, supporting you, guiding you through your own internal transformation. And there's something being illuminated to this person where they are recognizing you also at the soul level as being this very protective force for them, this very encouraging force for them. And all of that is starting to ripple out into this kind of desire to move towards you, move toward this connection in a way that they had not done before, that they had stopped themselves from continuing with previously. This desire to protect this, realizing that this connection is worth fighting for, recognizing that maybe even through the changes that have taken place within you, ways in which you've stepped into your purpose, into your power, you've taken back your power from this person, from this circumstance, from what has occurred, from other situations in your life that they may be aware of. You've really risen into that higher version of self. You've stepped out of an old skin and into a new version of who you are, a more authentic truth. You're standing in that unapologetically. And it's something that if this person is able to see you from afar, maybe with Knight of Pentacles, they've been kind of watching you from afar for some time, kind of standing in the shadows, very quietly, very observant, even just energetically being able to perceive the different kind of range of emotion and vibration that you have gone through. There's something that is noteworthy about the current state that you are in vibrationally, whatever is going on in your life, that is inspiring this person to make change in their own way as well. Something is illuminated for this person, that the potential that existed in this connection and with you, it was a doorway for them stepping into a fuller version of themselves, a fuller version of their life, that whatever they have chosen to kind of remain in the comfort zone with, whether it's even just the opinions of others or fitting some kind of a mold others have prescribed for them, that in some way this is limited, it's inauthentic to them. There's this desire to break free, break out of that pattern, break out of that habit, make those changes within themselves in order to kind of emulate that vibration, that elevated vibration, kind of rising above the version of yourself that they were last dealing with. This person wanting to kind of follow you there into those heights, into that kind of uncharted territory for them. Something that's very new, very unusual. Somebody who may be starting to speak their authenticity, set barriers, express themselves, maybe even some creative abilities that they have with all this blue, something related to maybe writing or speaking, some kind of a truth that needs to come out, maybe just in the form of, again, setting up boundaries or, really advocating for what it is they want to others around them, perhaps even family as well, with this home and this 10 of Cups, like a belief system or a tradition that is just not resonating with this person at the core level. It's not working for them anymore. And so this feels like somebody who very much inspired by this connection, something that they may have really feared about this, kind of fearing this otherness about you or about this connection, kind of this strange and otherworldly quality to you or to this connection, to the energy exchange between the both of you. This is somebody who is starting to look at this with a sense of wonder, who is starting to see this as their ticket to a different way of being, their ticket to kind of this next level and layer of themselves that has kind of been residing very dormantly within. A lot of activations could be happening as well. Again, Lionsgate portal is coming up very strongly in this. The August 8th kind of alignment of Sirius, the blue star, the dog star as it is called, this idea with dog of kind of like loyalty there. And this person really kind of opening up to this reality that this connection is worth fighting for, it's worth protecting. Their loyalty kind of, they're really questioning their loyalties and where those loyalties have been laying before, and they're starting to recognize that their first loyalty should be to themselves, that truth of themselves, the truth of their feelings for you, which they may have really denied or moved away from in the past, or kind of shunned or feared. Starting to really question that, reprioritize that, move toward that, evolve into that space of being able to show up for you as kind of a loyal counterpart, as somebody who is with you, who is excited to kind of embark on that journey of unfolding together, someone who's going through this metamorphosis within themselves and may already to some degree be in this process of metamorphosis and have now reached that point of clarity with the star, having come through the dark night of the soul. Now they have stopped seeking the light outside of themselves, and they have instead become the light. They have focused on that, illuminating kind of the denser energies around them, illuminating truth within themselves in order to discover who they are and what they want in their life in general, and as it relates to kind of the future of this connection. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now, group 3. What do they want to say? Okay, and they say, I'm not sure if I feel the same way I once did. So this is that energy of metamorphosis. This person's belief system's changing, their loyalties changing. Somebody who could have really placed the opinions of friends and family very high on their list of priorities. Somebody who really contorted themselves and tried to fit into that mold. Somebody who could have really been kind of putting on a facade, acting as if, just kind of going through the motions in order to fit in with the status quo. And they're starting to recognize that lifestyle, that way of being, that way of kind of sacrificing their authenticity, it no longer vibrates with them. It no longer resonates with them. It's no longer fulfilling. This is somebody who is engaged in kind of deep self-exploration, finding out what do they believe in, what do they want for themselves versus what do others want. And that's pertaining to their life in general and also in terms of this connection. Somebody who is really recognizing maybe how they allowed the opinions of others about you or this circumstance to really distort kind of the way that they showed up or the actions that they took, the words that they spoke in the past or the way they treated you. And all of that really shifting more into this energy, again, with that blue of this truth, the truth of their feelings, the reality of how they understand your energy and how they understand this connection, the truth of their heart that may have really been kind of suppressed or covered up previously. And they also say, I've been thinking about how I can fix things between us. So with that evolution is also coming this desire to have some kind of renewal, to transform the situation from where you last left things, to move out of this energy of denial into acceptance, stepping into that truth, owning their feelings, proclaiming these feelings also for others around them. Somebody who's defending this connection, defending you more, has this urge to really stand up for this, to advocate for this, regardless of what others may think or feel about the circumstance. They also say, you will always have a place in my heart. So this is that energy of kind of your entwined souls. As much as this person may have tried to run from this connection, push this away, try to kind of dilute themselves down into the expectations of others, really denying their feelings out of just kind of trying to kind of keep up with the impressions of those around them. You've always been in their heart. This person really kind of feeling very torn, it feels, for a while between the truth that they have had deep inside and then the actions that they have been portraying, the words they've been portraying or behaviors they were participating in. And it's something where, that kind of awareness, that awakening, it's almost like a cracking open from within. The truth within this person can no longer be denied. It's something that, has been illuminated for them, and kind of the importance of that, that they have this ability to break free, that, in this lifetime, it doesn't suit them to kind of cater to the whims of other people. It doesn't suit them to contort themselves down into the impression of what others expect them to be, that they owe it to themselves, first and foremost. They owe it to you. They owe it to this very unique and very eternal connection to advocate for this, to at least own up to that as a first step within themselves, the truth of this, the reality of this very otherworldly and kind of higher level love that that the two of you have been kind of blessed and gifted with experiencing in this lifetime. So I'm going to get a few more messages from this person's higher self. Group 3. All right, they say, you just would not understand what I'm going through most days. I don't even understand. So that's that energy of metamorphosis and, kind of the breaking down of the old, the dissolving of the old way of being, the old belief systems, things that once resonated with them, people they were even very loyal to, and kind of in this process of coagulating back into a more authentic version of self. This is somebody who's still in that process of becoming, of realizing that truth. Someone who maybe for so long just kind of put their own desires and needs second to what others wanted for them, what others expected of them. It's going to take some time for this person to kind of dig back through all those layers to really be able to trust that intuition, to learn to listen to the voice of their soul, to pick up on those kind of cues, whether they are emotional cues, physiological cues, vibrational cues about what is their truth versus what is just a projection that they are kind of trying to own for themselves, almost like a shoe that doesn't fit, that they're trying to squeeze their foot inside of. It feels very tight. It feels very uncomfortable, versus kind of releasing themselves from that and just walking around almost barefooted, just connecting deeply to that core, deeply to that earth, feeling that kind of release of pressure, being able to kind of distinguish themselves from that, from kind of belief systems that no longer work, ideas that don't work for them or that never really worked, weren't really true to them, and how that kind of that sensation of kind of tightening themselves, closing themselves off from what their soul has set out to experience in this lifetime, versus that sense of liberation of, releasing themselves from kind of those parameters or those boundaries of what others have told them that they should be and think and feel. They also say, you made me see a side of me that I've grown to hate. So this person could be struggling with some self-forgiveness at this point in time for the ways in which they really have acted in direct contrast to the truth of their soul. They have not, as far as this connection is concerned, lived that authenticity. Somebody who, again, just kind of went along with what others would expect of them, even if there was nobody directly in their ear about this. Something about this connection and just this perception of what would people think. This version of this person that was seeking to be, expressed, that was activated through meeting you, and kind of how different that version of them is from whoever they were kind of pretending or moving through life as previously, and sort of that fear of the unknown, that fear of being judged or misunderstood or ridiculed, or, what will this look like? How would that be received by society, by their friends, by their family? How would this work in terms of, lifestyle choices that they had, career choices, all these things which were, being called into question, and kind of somebody who was really operating out of the energy of fear from allowing things to collapse and kind of wash away in order for the new to kind of be birthed and to be grown. And so it's something where, they're recognizing that kind of time wasted, the ways in which they played small or kind of catered to things that didn't really resonate with them. And so a sense of kind of frustration, kind of hopelessness at, again, time having been wasted, missed opportunities, doors that this person in other ways in their life and this connection had closed in the past. Sort of this confusion and frustration about how to reopen these things, how to restart certain things, or ways in which to, kind of get back on a path of alignment to their true self. They also say, allow me to work on me so I can work on us. So that's a beautiful closing message from their higher self, and again talks about this energy of transformation, this person really learning some lessons, coming into this truth, needing to really decipher perhaps for the first time, or the first time in a while, what resonates with them truly. Separating themselves from how that will be viewed or perceived by others, learning to trust in that guidance of the soul, allowing themselves to operate from a heart-centered awareness, letting the heart lead, quieting the mind, creating more of a balance between heart and mind, as opposed to allowing fear and logic to kind of dictate their choices and actions in their life, and as it pertains to this connection in general. So I'm going to get some guidance now for you, Group 3, from Spirit about the situation. Okay, we have 4 of Abundance. It's time to reflect upon your relationship with money. Are you spending it too freely, or are you holding on to it too tightly? This can also relate to how you give of yourself to others. Is your heart open, or are you holding back? Your hard work and wise investments will bring great success. So this is a beautiful message here, great confirmation of this energy. This person really learning to kind of distinguish between where they have been giving their power away and just kind of trying to people please or fit into some kind of an expectation or an ideal that others may have prescribed for them. This could have to do with money, even what they do for a living, something to do with family, some kind of a family business. In some way they are really enmeshed with perhaps their family or their friends, or this perception of how they are viewed with that kind of reference to money also, and sort of the material world. Learning to kind of separate themselves from that, learning to accept and love themselves for who they are, not really concerning themselves with how others will perceive that or if it will be understood properly, but seeking to come to this understanding and acceptance of self first and foremost. So you're really being guided as well at this time to kind of take some inventory and recognize what are some of the ways in which you've given your power away, to fit into a mold, to fit into an expectation, to fit in with a crowd. What are some of the ways which you have kind of silenced your truth or kind of closeted that away in order to kind of meet needs and expectations of others that were directly placed upon you or that you perceived to be there? What are some of the ways in which you feared this otherness about yourself and so have tried to kind of mask that with sameness, essentially kind of denying this very unique gift, this very unique shine to your soul that you have been gifted with, you have been blessed with. It's a part of you for a reason, not to keep that sunlight bottled up inside, but to allow that to shine, allow that to kind of express itself. Recognizing that, those who are not meant to resonate with you and continue with you on your journey forward will naturally kind of fall away when you step into that authenticity. And when you are in that authenticity, you are also then a beacon. You are able to kind of magnetize in and kind of call in and gravitate toward people and circumstances who will recognize that, who will appreciate that authenticity, that truth within you, who are able to respond to that vibration and participate with you in a reciprocal way at that vibration. So the two of you in this connection definitely very much mirroring. You're very much both in your own ways kind of going through this process of metamorphosis. The work that you have done internally has been energetically felt by this person, and they are now in this process of doing that inventory of self, really taking into account what do they invest their time in, who do they surround themselves with, what are they doing for a living, are they living their higher calling, are they living in their truth, are they living in their purpose, all of this work really taking place. And this seems to be that on the other side of some kind of a portal, some kind of portal of rebirth, a new and more authentic version, a higher vibrational person is kind of in the works, is in the making. And so not really operating in that space of, being excited and eager for this, welcoming that change if this is to occur, if this person chooses to continue to participate with this work in this lifetime, keeping that door open a crack for this person, not completely closing off sort of the idea or the hope that change is possible, but at the same time, continuing to move forward. It looks like you've done a lot of really good work on yourself. You've raised your vibration in a very major way, continuing to do that, continuing, to keep doing those check-ins with yourself periodically, to keep really, searching your soul when you encounter new people, when you encounter maybe patterns or habits that are kind of brought to your attention, and really taking the time to say, what things have you outgrown and what ways do you need to kind of liberate yourself, maybe even a belief system or a mindset as far as this person is concerned. If you've been too focused on kind of that 3D union and reunion, taking your sights kind of inward and upward to focusing on sort of the higher aspects of this connection, moving beyond just kind of thinking about the very temporary corporeal existence that we have, which makes up a human lifespan, and instead focusing on the eternity of the soul, finding comfort and solace in that, so that you are able to continue forward in a productive and abundant way in this lifetime. And if this person chooses to kind of make those changes, they will align with you further down the road when the timing is right. And the best thing that you can do for that, for this connection in the interim, is to focus on your own abundance, continuing to cultivate that knowledge of self, stepping into that truth, expressing that truth, recognizing your gifts, seeking to find ways to kind of share that with others, to make the world around you a more beautiful and just kind of uplifted place than which you found it, seeking to become that love which you wish to experience, becoming that change in the world you wish to see. And these small steps can also add up to very large, energetic vibrations. It can reverberate to others. It can be an example to others. And it certainly is being felt by this person, and is definitely the work you're doing on yourself is helping this person to also kind of break free of limiting patterns and step into that abundance of spirit, that abundance of soul, the abundance of truth, which longs to break free and be expressed and known through this person. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 3, this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got M, W, Z, R, A, X, F, P, K, and O. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.